Development Academy of the Philippines, and the Philippine Center for Economic Development. So we have requested the agencies to present anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and then yours truly has a few questions. We ask that you focus on changes in the budget and goals for the year. Now, we plan to do this quite efficiently, but in doing so, we request that even if we're finished with your agency, to just remain until 3 o'clock because other senators might be coming in for questions. Then we'll try to end at 3 o'clock on the dot because we also have session. Okay? So if that's okay, we shall start. So we'll start with our friends from PDEA. Yusek Kakdak, you have the floor.
Honorable Senator Paulo Benigno Bam Aquino IV, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to start by reporting our next chart, please. Based on Executive Order number 43, series of 2011, which defines the 5 priority programs of His Excellency President Aquino, PDEA's under the cluster of just and lasting peace and the rule of law. Next chart, please. This is our mandate. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency is both a law enforcement and a regulatory agency. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency is responsible for the efficient and effective law enforcement of all provisions of Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. When I assumed as Director General, the President gave this instruction: intensify efforts against the source of drugs to make it unaffordable to the public. A result of this marching order, we adopted 3 major operational thrusts, namely the conduct of high-impact operations, the arrest of high-value targets, and strengthening of the anti-drug cooperation among drug law enforcement agencies, including the Philippine Coast Guard and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Next chart, please. Reflected is our performance indicators. Next chart. For our anti-drug accomplishments, this is the budget, sir, that was given to us in 2014, and as a result of the release of 920 million pesos, this is what we have accomplished. The PDEA exceeded its targets, and we were in fact ranked best for PBB in 2014, and we were able to get our PEI also in the same year. Next chart, please. For the 2015 budget, this is what was given to us by Congress, 969 million pesos. Next chart. And this is the target that was given to us. Next chart. We would like to respectfully report that as of the end of the first semester, we have already exceeded all the targets for the first semester. Next chart, please. This is the proposed budget, sir, for 2016, 1 million plus. Next chart, please. And this is the distribution. We would like to report that 66.69% of the budget allocated for PDEA is meant for personnel services, while only 1.71% is for capital outlay, and the rest are MOOE. Next chart, please. So this is the comparative figures for 2015 and 2016. We have an increase in the personnel services allocation by 6.39%, brought about by our intensified recruitment to fill up our vacant plantilla position. We have a slight increase in MOOE of about 2.15%, and we have a reduction in the capital outlay. Next chart, please. Our commitment. PDEA commits itself to prudent and wise utilization of resources while striving to improve the quality of life of the Filipino people and to promote just and lasting peace through a drug-free community in the near future. That ends my presentation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusek. Just a few questions. kumusta na po yung special court on drug cases? No? We hear that that's one of the bottlenecks in determining or in pushing through with successful convictions sa drugs. How is that coming along? Ho?
We are coordinating directly with the court administrator, Your Honor, and we are trying to request that additional drug courts be designated to handle the growing number of drug cases being filed by PNP, NBI, Bureau of Customs, and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency.
Do you have, would you say, kasi, kayo ho sa PDEA, nanguhuli kayo, but then baka the conviction doesn't really push through, no, for different reasons. Would you have metrics in terms of yung inuhuli ninyo versus yung nako-convict, tsaka yung napapawalang sala po dahil sa mga technicalities sa ating korte?
We have, Your Honor, if I may just refer to the statistics on the cases that were handled. Thank you. Shown in the chart is the so we have actually look it in the chart. Balik niyo muna. So, more or less, sir, we are handling 115,914 drug cases nationwide, and only 21% were resolved. Next chart.
And yung resolve ho dyan is not necessarily conviction.
Yes,
pwedeng, acquittal, di ba?
Yes,
sa resolve,
sir.
no?
This is the
Okay.
this is the chart that will explain the resolved cases, Your Honor. Out of the resolved cases of 21,007, we only have a conviction of 5,553 or 26%. And indicated in the chart are the common reasons for the acquittal.
Let me compute that.
47%.
5553. Can I see the previous slide? Divided by 115,000. 914. That's actually 4.7%.
Yes, Your Honor,
Oh.
if you will take all the drug cases. Yeah. But
But-
if you will only take the ones resolved, because the others, Mr. Chair, Your Honor, has not yet been resolved by the court.
So hindi pa tapos.
Hindi pa po tapos, Your Honor. Next chart, please. Next chart. Can we have the regional figure? I would just like to show this figure, Your Honor, because we have different situations in the regions, and we would like to report that we're encountering challenges in the ARNM because the case does not reach the court. It is dismissed at the prosecutor's level. So that is the conviction rate by regions, Mr. Chair. Lowest is in ARNM at 2.26%. We have 6 conviction, but most of the cases are dismissed again at the prosecutor's level. It does not reach the court.
Okay, Yusek, what are we doing to address this, no? Kasi end-to-end po yan, no? I think we talked earlier about the attacking the sources para maapektuhan yung merkado, nanguhuli ho tayo, but the end-to-end cycle is really a conviction, no? If I'm not mistaken. In your budget now, ano po yung ginagawa natin to address those regions na napakababa? Kasi, 2% is you don't want to cast aspersion on anyone, pero that's a really low number for a region, di ba? I'm sure you feel that's a low number, no? Ano po yung ginagawa natin to resolve these issues?
First of all, Mr. Chair, I would like to explain that those cases that were resolved were a result of law enforcement operations so many years back. The arrest that we are making at during this year will be resolved 5 years after, and it's really very difficult to tally what we're doing now and what will happen because we will still wait for the court to decide. But I would like to answer your question, Mr. Chair. Number one, we look at ourselves. Are we doing the right thing? So we conduct specialized and career courses for our people. And to ensure that the same thing is happening, PNP is also adopting the same program for their own anti-drug units. Second, we would like to be assured that there is no bungling going on in the prosecution of the case. So the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency deploy case monitors in all the courts handling drug cases, and they are the ones that report to us the result of the hearing, so that if there is a need for us to call the attention of our partners in the NBI, the PNP, and Bureau of Customs, I write them a letter to advise them that, for example, an arresting officer from the PNP did not appear in court, so we advise them to direct their people to appear in court. So more or less, Your Honor, that is what we're doing. And then again, we're trying to develop a culture of cooperation with our partners in the criminal justice system. We try to coordinate almost always with the Secretary of Department of Justice and also the Clerk of Court and Justice Marquez.
Kumusta naman po yung cooperation ng iba't ibang ahensya to resolve these issues?
We are very happy that we have developed a certain level of cooperation between the law enforcement agencies, and that we are also happy that we are being supported by the Department of Justice. In fact, the last directive of Secretary De Lima is for me to just text her if there is a sensational case that we are handling, so that she will know about this and probably call the attention of the state prosecutor.
Well, yung pagdating ho dun sa special court cases for cases involving drugs, will that hasten the resolution of the cases or not necessarily?
It will hasten, Your Honor, but may I just say that when law enforcement agencies intensify the conduct of operation, we now have a situation where there are numerous cases filed in court, and really it is becoming a challenge for our criminal justice system. And then afterwards, when they get convicted, 47%, not before they get convicted, it is also a challenge for our jail facilities, because 47% of those detained in the jail facilities are violators of our drug law. And that those convicted in the National Bilibid Prison, I don't have the figure, but it's more or less 18%, Your Honor. So it's a challenge for the whole criminal justice system, not just for the court, for the prosecution, and the law enforcement.
And currently, does the budget that you have approved already, will that meet those challenges? Kasi that's really the question. If the worst thing is that we're just running in place. No, we want to see these reforms. We want to see these changes happen. Yung coordination, yung capacity of the agency, yung ability to resolve. Kasi I think yung panguhuli, may numbers naman kayo, nakakahuli naman kayo, di ba? But it's really that next steps na some numbers aren't quite favorable. No, so that's your budget currently. I know that. You had, this is 3.57% higher than last year, but there were certain things which were disapproved ata, no, ng DBM. No? So would you say that the current budget as we have it now is enough to fulfill these goals of the agency?
For PDEA, Your Honor, I suppose that this will be enough, but we are aware that the government also lacks funds and has to allocate its budget for other requirements. We would like an increase, but we are willing to accept what is allowed by the DBM.
And final question, sir, no? With regard to the PNP, may ano ho ba yan? Can the PNP also arrest on drug-related cases, or it's just the PDEA that arrests on drug-related cases?
Republic Act, Your Honor, Republic Act 9165 did not stop the PNP, NBI, and the Bureau of Customs from implementing that law.
Okay.
What happened was there was a deactivation of the anti-drug units of the PNP, Customs, and the NBI. But the following year, in 2003, the President at that time issued an executive order, EO218, directing the NBI, the PNP, and the Bureau of Customs to activate their own anti-drug task forces, probably realizing that the activation of the regular anti-drug units of these agencies was not proper, because PDEA alone, with 1,892 agents, cannot solve the drug problem in the entire country.
So, malinaw ho yun, no, that these other agencies can also operate in terms of drug-related cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
But PDEA remains the main policy-making No, it's the DDB, though, that remains the policy-making body for drug-related issues, no?
Yes, Your Honor. The DB remains the policy-making body, and we are the lead enforcement agency. But there is a requirement in the law that all the NBI, PNP, and Customs has to do is to coordinate their operation with us so that we can account for these operations.
So napakahalaga talaga ho ng coordination even from the enforcement side all the way to the resolution side, no?
Yes,
And
sir.
we wish you all the best on that. I'm going to end my questions there, no? Of course, if other senators come, they might also have questions. Please don't leave yet, Yusek. Thank you. Okay, shall we have the PCDSPO?
We have a PowerPoint, but I can very briefly present the mandate and the purpose of this office, Mr. Chairman, without requiring the PowerPoint. Basically, we are the messaging arm of the President of the Philippines, and for that purpose, we are tasked with fundamentally preparing his speeches and attending to his correspondence. To do so effectively, we also have a mandate for the editorial policies of the executive department so that everyone is communicating in a consistent manner. Corporate identities so that everyone's presentations and all the things that they present appear in the same manner, because that, as you know, a picture says 1,000 words. To be able to provide the proper insight, we require research and monitoring of what our citizens are saying, especially online. And we are tasked with institutional memory, because a president is only as good as the research and knowledge and the understanding among all people concerned that what a president does is for a limited period, because there are predecessors and there will be successors. As far as the public is concerned, our fundamental effort is with the official Gazette online. We have been the ones who have taken it online from its old purpose, and it has become the national government portal. In this portal, you will see both the activities, pronouncements, presentations of the President, as well as the Executive Department. And we have put forward the institutional memory of the Republic to an extent that has not been matched previously. For example, it was not until this administration that the legislature, the Supreme Court, and the executive spoke together to identify and understand that none of these institutions have a complete set of their laws and issuances, and we have worked together to put them up online. This helps with the public, with academe, with media, and with government, because you can easily access official documents. In terms of our request for the coming fiscal year, we are asking for a very modest increase of 906,000 pesos. This is primarily for staffing and for wear and tear of equipment.
And that 906 has been approved by DBM already?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I really have no questions for PCDSPO. It's quite straightforward, no? But please remain, Yusek, if there might be other senators who might have questions. Thank you. All right, PLLO, Secretary Mamba.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to everyone. The mandate of PLLO is the promotion of presidential initiatives, including progress of administration bills and maintenance of close liaison with Congress, NGS, and other interest groups. PLLO's key function is basically just to promote presidential legislative initiatives in Congress and sustain executive legislative collaboration, build strategic alliance and network behind the President's program of governance among policymakers and development stakeholders. The thrust of our budget for 2016 is to further strengthen strategic support for the President's priority measures and core policy reform agenda. Also further strengthen collaborative legislative executive relations, and further consensus-based inputs to legislation and people-centered information, education, and communication campaign programs relative to legislation. we are proposing a budget of 44,708,000, a modest 16% increase, basically due to the provision of terminal leave benefits for compulsory retirees, additional capital outlay of about 3.47 million for the renovation and refurbishment of the PLLO HOR office, the replacement of an aging vehicle acquired in 2003, additional IT requirements, and the replacement of worn-out office equipments. We will do some expansion also of the ongoing projects, activities, and programs of PLLO. That's it.
Thank you, Secretary Mamba. Maybe just for the record, of course, we deal with your office a lot here in the Senate, no? But just for the record, are there still priority legislation that we're trying to finalize before the end of the President's term?
Yeah. In a meeting with the Senate President, for the Senate, we have the TIMTA, the Pag-asa Modernization, the National Land Use Act. These were all prioritized, there are 12 of them. The amendment of the Road Right-of-Way, the ICT, of course, the Banks Basic Law, amendment of the BOT Law and PPP projects, the Custom Tariff Modernization Act, the National Identification System, the Prepaid SIM Card Registration System Act, the amendments of the PDIC Charter, and of course, the General Appropriations Act of 2016.
And this is the Senate and Congress, or just the Senate?
Just the Senate, Your Honor.
For Congress, meron bang wala dyan sa listahan ninyo na priorities nila?
For Congress, the additional ones are the extension of the authority to issue notice of coverage, the Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund, and of course, the Reformative Justice Indexation.
Are we optimistic ho that we'll get that list done? Or sabi nga ho nila, patapos na daw yung legislative calendar kasi pasimula ng election calendar.
Aminin ko, napakalaking problema sa atin lahat ito, especially with the filing of candidacy of almost everyone, except the 12 senators, maybe.
So
But really,
matitira ho kami ditong 12. Or maybe even less, no?
Yeah, even less. We're doing our best, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, thank you. Just for the record, has there been any vetoes for the 16th Congress? Parang wala ho, no? For this Congress.
Wala pa naman po. Wala pa naman po.
We'd like to acknowledge, of course, the Minority Floor Leader Juan Ponce Enrile. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have no more questions for PLLO. Thank you. Senator, for the record, no, we had finished already with PDEA and PCDSPO and now PLLO. But of course, if you have questions, you are very welcome to ask questions. All right. Thank you very much, Secretary Mamba. Maraming salamat.
I just want to ask
Yes, please.
the head of PDEA if he's here. Yes, Yusek Kakdak, what's happening to the drug problem of the country? It's all over the country. What is your office doing about it? And how do you justify your existence?
Your Honor, may I just start by explaining?
Speak louder because I'm hard of hearing.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank
All of you will have to speak louder.
Your Honor, may I just start my explanation by saying that the strategy is actually adopted or formulated by the Dangerous Drugs Board, and it involves the following. Number one is the supply reduction, the demand reduction.
Share. From what to what?
May I assume in 2012, Your Honor, in October 2012, the the seizure, the volume of drugs seized were 112 kilos of shabu. The whole year of 2013, when I became the Director General, it went up by 630% or up to 824 kilos. Last year, it slightly went down to 718 kilos, but we dismantled 4 clandestine laboratory. This year, it's already close to 500, and we still have... We were activated in 2002 pursuant to Republic Act 9165.
2002?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is circa 2015.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is how many years?
13 years, Your Honor.
13 years. And until now, is your estimate the problem is under control or
It's under manageable
beyond control?
It's under manageable level, Your Honor.
Come on. You're not in the Philippines if that's what you think. It's all over the country. Everybody talks about it. And you have a barangay anti-drug center. You have municipal anti-drug center. You have a provincial anti-drug center. You have a CADAC, Central Government Anti-Drug Center. All of these are instruments of controlling this menace. But people are, especially the youth, are being destroyed by this problem. And how can you justify the budget coming from the tax payments of the people to be spent for you if you cannot control this kind of law problem? 12 years is a long time to control the problem, even a kidnapping and a carnapping or whatever kind of napping, including ineptness of government. You know, I'm telling you, gentlemen, to me, I'm going out of politics and wala akong sisinuhin dito. If you do not perform, we will cut your budget mercilessly.
May I respond, Your Honor?
You better perform better. You tell us in the deliberation of your budget on the floor what you really have done. What
Yes.
is your program?
Yes, Your Honor. May I just add that based on the National Anti-Drug Plan of Action approved by the President for the years 2015 to 2020.
Even if it's approved by the President, if you do not perform, that's meaningless to me.
That's I would like to further
The
explain.
President cannot function without the underlings.
The Anti-Drug Abuse Council.
How many people do you have now?
800.
800.
92,
What is
Your
your
Honor.
total budget?
Agents, Your Honor, I have 1,892 plantilla positions.
All
but
over the country.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the incidence of drug addiction and drug distribution in the province of Cagayan?
We have the drug.
If I will ask you that,
I have.
and everywhere in the country, can you give me at the tip of your hand
We have the
the
figure, Your Honor.
incidence
We have
without reading your record?
We're dealing with barangay drug affectation, Your Honor. May I just refer to my notes?
You know, that is how you should run government, you know. You don't have to keep reading records whenever you face an inquisitor.
For the national, Your Honor, I have it in my tips. In Metro Manila, I also have it. But in the regions, may I just please allow me to look at my
I'm telling
notes.
you, each one of you, each agency here will justify its, as far as I'm concerned. I do not care about the other senators, what they will do, but as far as I'm concerned, in this budget hearing and budget year, you have to justify the money of the people for yourselves, for your agencies.
May I report the drug affectation in Cagayan, Your Honor? In Region 2, Your Honor, it is 22.80%, but in the
How
province
many? How much?
22.80%, Your
Of
Honor.
what? 22% of what?
Out of the 2,311 barangays, 527 are drug affected.
Are affected.
In Cagayan, Your Honor, out of the 820 barangays, 236 or 28.78%.
What will be the total population affected by those numbers? And when you talk of barangays,
I will report
which parts?
I will report the details to you, Your Honor.
You will?
I will report the population, Your Honor. I don't have it.
How long have you been in office?
Since October 2012, Your Honor.
October of
2012, Your Honor.
2012.
Your Honor.
2012. And,
Yes, Your Honor.
you cannot remember the barangays of each perhaps if when I was Secretary of Defense, you asked me a question in Lanao del Sur, I will tell you the province, the towns and barangays.
Yes, Your Honor. I know, Your Honor. I serve under you, sir.
How can you? My God, 2012, 3 years. Anyway, go ahead, Mr. Chairman. I'm just warning you, gentlemen, that we have to shape up now.
Right. I think we are already at the Philippine Racing Commission. So we were just about to begin with the Philippine Racing Commission.
What office is that?
Philippine Racing Commission. If we may have the presentation, please.
Good afternoon, Senators, Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. John Edward Timbol will present our 2016 budget.
I have no question to this office.
Please proceed.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello. Okay. The Philippine Racing Commission. The Philippine Racing Commission, created by virtue of Presidential Decree 420, signed into law by then President Ferdinand Marcos on March 20, 1974, and officially organized on November 20, 1974, under the Office of the President, is the sole agency tasked with overseeing the Philippine horse racing industry. Its declared policy is to promote and direct the accelerated development and continued growth of horse racing, not only in pursuance of the Sports Development Program, but also in order to ensure the full exploitation of the sport as a source of revenue and employment. The Philcom's aims and objectives are as follows: to promote and maintain efficient and unbiased operation of horse racing, exclusive of the supervision of betting therein, to raise public confidence in the sport and minimize infraction of rules of racing, and finally, to improve the breed of Philippine horses and to prevent illegal importation of racehorses. Pursuant to the President's budget for the year 2016, the Philippine Racing Commission was allocated a total budget of 123,130,000, which is the budgetary ceiling allocated to us by the Department of Budget and Management. The following is a detailed breakdown by item of the 2016 President's budget of the Commission. For personal services, we've been allotted 29,688,000. For MOOE, 90,762,000. And for capital outlay, the amount of 2,680,000 was allocated for a total of 123,130,000, a slight increase of 5% from 2015's budget. This pie chart shows a breakdown in percent of the 2016 President's budget of the Commission. As evident, the MOOE eats up most of our budget by as much as 74%, followed by PS, 24%, and the remaining 2% is for capital outlay. This chart shows how our MOOE is distributed. As you can see, out of the 90,762,000 pesos, 70 million or 79% in equivalent of our MOOE is allocated for stakes race prizes. The remaining 21% is for our regular MOOE. Hence, we give back to the industry as much as 56% of our budget in the form of stakes race prizes. For 2015, our projected sales is 8 billion pesos, 15% of which goes back to the government coffers in the form of taxes, or an equivalent of 1.2 billion pesos worth of projected revenue. Finally, this slide shows how we arrived at our sales and revenue projection, as the final quarter sales is relatively closest to the first quarter. Them being peak seasons, we added them to our actual sales for the first 3 quarters. Approximately 15% of the sum is the projected government revenue. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so let me clarify now. Let me talk to the chairman, Mr. Andrew Sanchez. So, may revenue ho tayo. Roughly, you remit about 1.2 billion pesos back to the national government. Is that right?
We remitted last year 1,448,278,346, and our budget for last year was only 114 million.
Oh. So when all of these proceeds, though, you remit it, hindi nyo ho nagagamit yan. You
No.
use the budget given to you by
Yes, that's the only thing
by
we
Congress,
do.
no?
Yes.
All right. And the sales that you have, only about 15% is remitted, no? The rest of it is cost of goods. Saan ho napupunta yung 85%?
Prices, and then 8% goes to the racing club, and the rest are taxes. We have the biggest tax in all the gambling,
In all the gambling agencies
Yes.
or
Yes.
offices. Okay. So for 2016, will that revenue increase? Kasi you projected ho 2015.
Yes, it will increase, but we're having a hard time nga because we have the biggest tax deduction, no, and we were not given the incentive like all other racing facilities in Asia. They have incentive for horse owners, and this was not given to us. We're the only country in the whole Asia that does not have any incentive for horse owners.
Well, that's probably a subject matter for another time,
Yes.
no, or maybe a hearing on the development of PhilRacom. But for now,
Yes.
I'm happy to see that the larger bulk is remitted back to the government actually, and you are revenue generating for the
Yes.
for the national government.
Yes.
Okay.
How many, how do you call this, racing groups?
Racing clubs, Your Honor.
Racing clubs, how many racing clubs does this commission supervise?
Lately, there's
Huh?
a new one. The 3 as of now.
There are 3.
Yes.
Where are they located?
And two are located in Cavite, in Carmona,
Carmona and
Naik, and the other
And?
one, Naik, Cavite.
Naik.
Yes.
In Naik.
Yes.
And the other one
The new one is located in Batangas.
in
Malbar.
Batangas.
Yes.
And the total revenue of government from this source, how much?
Is 1,448,278,346.
Representing how many races in a year?
Beg your pardon, Your Honor.
Huh?
No, for the races the whole year,
How many races do these 3 clubs do in a year to produce that kind of revenue for government?
more or less 768 racing days.
How many people are employed in these 3 clubs?
I think I'm just going to clarify. Araw. $288 racing days. Racing days.
288 racing days.
Yes.
Are the racing days designated or controlled or regulated by government?
Yes. It's regulated by PLRACOM. We distribute the racing days equal to the 3 racing clubs.
What is the limiting factor in regulating this number of days?
The
Is
regulator,
this discretionary on the part of government, or it could be increased or decreased?
it's discretionary with PLRACOM
Huh?
because we're mandated to control the racing days.
If you increase your number of racing days in order to increase the load work of the commission, would that mean an increase in the revenue income of government?
That will be, Your Honor, but the problem is we have limited number of horses, participants. So we
Why?
cannot raise them as in Australia or in the United States where they have 50,000 horses to raise. We only have here about 2,000 to 3,000 horses.
You import your horses.
No, some of them are bred here and some are imported, Your Honor.
Of the total number of horses being used for racing in the year, what percentage would be imported? Half?
About 5% only, Your Honor.
5%?
Yes.
And the rest are homegrown?
Yes. The homegrown as of last year was 2,361, and the imported is only 146.
Over the last 10 years, what was the total income raised by the government from your sector?
Probably it will be about 12 to 14 billion.
This will go to the general fund.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you get in return for
We
the
only-
taxes that you pay the government?
We are only provided the budget.
Huh? What does the commission do for you? Huh? He's the head?
Yes.
Ah, he's the head of the commission. I thought he's the one. Huh? He's the presenter.
Yes.
You should sit there instead of there. What do you do for the clubs?
No, we
For
control-
getting a budget of, for this year, 116 million, and for next year, 123 million.
mostly about 85% will go to horse prices.
To
To horse prices. Stakes races.
you provide the price.
Yes. On big stakes races like the Presidential Gold Cup, in coordination with PCSO, we offer the biggest prize on that occasion. And then almost right now, PLRACOM is trying to uplift the stakes races so we can encourage more horse owners.
Are the races done by the Philippine Charity Sweepstake also controlled by you?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
Are they conducting races still?
Yes, because
in their
in their
operation?
charter, they're mandated, in the first place, they were mandated to help the racing
The
industry.
income generated by the races done for the Philippine Charity Sweepstake do not form a part of the revenue of the commission.
No, Your Honor.
If you include that, what will be the total volume?
That will add a few millions more, Your Honor.
How few is a few?
Probably about 2 to 3 million.
2 to 3 billion.
Yes.
So that all the operations of the PCSO is done by racing.
They only offer sweepstakes races.
Sweepstakes races.
Yes.
Most
And-
of their income comes from what? Lotto.
Yes. They are just
is-
doing that in support of the racing
Lotto,
industry.
these are the so-called small town lottery or
Yes.
the big lotteries? Both.
They are only in support of the racing industry because They are mandated to do so, Your
You,
Honor.
you have no jurisdiction over the Philippine Charity Sweepstake,
No, Your Honor.
except the racing portion.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Thank you, Phil Racom. Maraming salamat. We'll move now to the Philippine Postal Corporation. Yes, Ma'am Josie, go ahead.
No, Senator Andile, if you will allow me to make a very short presentation, the Philippine Postal Corporation, of course, on RA 7354, which transformed it into a 100% government-owned corporation from a line agency. Its main task is really to connect the country. This is our mission, is to provide efficient, competitive, and on-time delivery of communication, goods, and payment services to the Filipino community. And our vision for 2020 is to actually be the preferred universal provider of communications, goods, and payment services for every Filipino. From the traditional mail, in order to be able to survive and to compete, because the corporation must earn every peso that it spends, it must therefore be able to introduce new products and services. This is also necessary for us to continually be relevant and consistent with the thrust of this administration. From traditional mail, we have therefore included as part of our services now remittance, logistics, and retail services. This, of course, includes the postal ID, which remains to be one of the 6 government-accredited identification in the country. In 2010, upon the assumption of this administration, the post was really very, very much behind. And in the last 4 years, we needed to actually fast-track modernization to be able to compete, and as I said, to be able to meet up its universal service mandate. As a result of that, the thrust of the corporation first is, of course, to be able to continue to connect our around 1,500 post offices all over the country, to be able to install the domestic track and trace system, which will keep us at par with the private couriers. We needed to refleet because the vehicles in 2011 had an average age of about 17 years. We needed to resort to automation, and of course, we need to be able to modernize our central mail exchange, because this is actually where all communications, especially in inbound and outbound, are processed. As our transformation story from a bankrupt corporation in 2010, we have actually been making money over the last 4 years. In fact, we have already been able to remit and declare dividend to the national government, small as it may be. Actually, we do not really have a budget coming from Congress, but we are here because of the Franklin privilege that we collect annually, starting in 2012, upon the assumption of this administration, recognizing that while the government agencies, as provided by law, are entitled to these free mailing services, we need to have a recovery of some of the costs that we incur, considering that we need to earn every peso that we spend. And as a result of that, since 2012, national government has been providing us some kind of a reimbursement for costs incurred in the delivery of these frank mails. To date, this year, again, as proposed by DBM, we have 301 million, which has been the amount pegged since 2013, irregardless actually of how much the Franklin privilege is all about. If you notice here, for example, and it's really 2 years back, the Franklin extended to government in 2014 amounted to a total of 523,679,000 and so. But we are again only being reimbursed 301, and it's been the situation ever since. Nevertheless, we are grateful that somehow we recover part of the costs that we incur. For this year as well, for the first time po, on top of the 301 million that's being given to us in 2016, national government has appropriated an additional 200 million to help us fast-track the modernization of our central mail exchange in Pasay, which we are starting to build this year.
I'm interested about your efficiency.
Opo, yeah. Actually, I have a table, sir.
According to your 2013 performance, there is a figure here, 94%.
Opo.
What is this 94%?
This is actually po kasi as monitored by the Universal Postal Union. They actually cover a tracking of how long it takes for us to be able to do the universal mandate. And the 94% reflects what is monitored on committed areas. May committed areas po kasi, sir.
It says here, International Express Post-Delivery Performance.
Opo.
Target is 4 days.
Opo, tama po siya, sir.
Now, this delivery system performance is from what to what?
From the date of posting, Chair, sir, to the date of
Istanbul to the Philippines?
To the day of delivery po, only for committed areas.
Anywhere in the world?
Opo.
Incoming deliveries is done on the average 4 days.
But you deduct the time that it is with customs. The count of the time po deducts the time period that the goods are with customs, because that is also where it really takes a while.
I cannot, I'm hard of hearing. I cannot read that, you see. That's my problem. I'm guessing.
Opo. Shall I speak a little louder, sir?
So can you submit a written explanation of these figures? From what point to what point on this globe, and from what point to what point in the domestic area?
Opo, we can do that, sir.
I suppose that all mail system originates from Manila or originate from different parts of the country.
And they converge in the Central Mail Exchange.
If I'll pick a town
Opo.
in this country and ask you how long will a letter arrive in Manila if it leaves that place, can you tell me the exact number of days?
We can estimate po.
From Taganak to Manila.
Opo, depending po if it's coming to Manila.
You know where Taganak is?
In Abra po. I think it's in the Mountain Province.
You're guessing.
I'm sorry po. Yeah.
From Calayan to Manila. Do you know where Calayan is?
Calayan Island?
Yeah.
Cagayan.
Calayan.
No, Calayan. That's Calayan Island.
Cagayan is the province.
That's an island po, di ba ho?
Huh?
That's an island near Batanes.
If this is the kind of government we have, something is wrong, you know.
That's Calayan Island, di ba?
Madam.
Opo, I'm sorry.
Calayan is a town in the province of Cagayan. Now,
I apologize.
Taganak is an opposite side of the Republic of the Philippines. It's 17 kilometers from Sandakan. You know where Sandakan is?
Hindi po.
Well, I have no question.
No, maybe we can submit the detailed breakdown of the 4 days to Senator Enrile's office. No? But I have questions.
Yeah.
So ito hong 94% na 4 days, we're saying that from the day that it left the town, wherever this is, till the day that it arrived,
it's supposed to be tracked. But
90% of them arrived in 4 days?
We need to qualify po kasi, Senator. That's why I kept saying committed areas.
Okay.
When you say committed,
what are the committed areas?
When you say po committed areas, I apologize because the towns being mentioned by Senator Enrile are actually not covered by the committed areas.
What are the committed areas, ma'am?
For example, the urban cities like Davao, Cebu, Manila, Baguio. Those are where we can commit that this is the number of days it will take to do the express mail. This is international express mail, which is a commitment to the Universal Postal Union.
We are not supposed to be serving only urban centers. Government means a government of the people.
Tama po,
all
sir.
the way to the farthest nook and corner of the country.
Tama po,
If
sir.
that is the way that is your notion of how an efficient government ought to be, then I disagree with you completely.
Sir, we totally agree with you po. It is in fact our universal mandate to connect the country. But we are saying that this measurement applies only to the committed areas because in the remote areas that you have mentioned po, because we have no airplane of our own,
If I
there
did
is...
not ask you this question, we do not know the inefficiency that you have in your system. Precisely, I asked that question advisedly to find out if you know what's going on in your system.
Opo. May handicap po kasi kami. We do not have our own conveyance. So we are dependent on the commercial planes
Actually,
and ship.
Postmaster General, I guess we would like to know, in the non-committed areas, what are your metrics? Do you also have that? Because I couldn't find it in the slides. No?
Actually, if you look at it po, it's there in the major final output as we are measured. The domestic non-express
yun ho yun.
there is the 8 days and the
Okay.
5 days.
So that's the one, no?
Yes.
Okay, so for the areas that Senator Enrile had mentioned, it would be 8 days.
Yes.
Any person uninitiated in studying figures would be immediately amazed at the efficiency that you are presenting the way it is, no? Because in 2013, your target days is 4 days, and you were able to bring it down to 50%, 2 days. And then you go to 2014, 3 days, the same thing, 2 days, 1 day. That's really very efficient.
Sir, express mail po siya.
But it is not that way. So you better give us a written explanation of this whole damn figure here.
Yes, please submit
Yes,
to
Opo.
Senator.
We will do that. We will do that.
In 2015, how is it? 3 days.
Opo.
Result, 3 days. Why did you become so inefficient all of a sudden? Or it's also 3 days, your target is 3 days.
No, because
So in
we
2014,
expanded po
it's 1 day, you know.
Sir, we expanded the committed areas.
Huh?
So from original so many committed areas only, we expanded this now. And because of the reality that the issue with customs is causing some problems on the timetable, in-adjust po yung major output, which already now counted the time it is delivered from the time it is released from customs. Ito po is express, hindi po siya regular mail.
May we know, PG, kung ano yung average days that customs handles the packages?
It's very erratic po. Sometimes it can take more than a month with them.
Okay. More than a month with
Yes.
customs.
In fact, that has long been the issue with customs. And that was why we have been requesting that we be deputized like the private couriers so that we have better control.
So you're not deputized by customs?
Not yet.
But the private couriers are deputized by
Yes.
customs? Why is that?
It's a long story, Senator, but now at least from the last meeting with Chairman Lina, we have been assured that we will be able to implement that deputization soon.
Yeah, I think maybe part of Senator Enrile's concern is that if we say kasi 3 days after customs, yes, we are tracking the performance of your agency, but for the Filipinos, they won't care if it was
Yeah.
with customs or it was with
With us or with
PPC, no? Ang hinahanap lang po nila, gaano katagal na umabot.
We are just talking, Mr. Chairman, of international express post delivery performance. But if you go into the domestic, it's more inefficient.
It's 8 days po, sir.
8 days.
Apo.
From where to where?
70% po is
From
delivered.
Manila to Baguio, 8 days.
Less po yon kasi po that's a committed area. Ang
From Manila to Cebu, 8 days.
less than that po. Committed area po kasi siya. So, if you're talking of your town, Opo. So, yun pong Kalayan.
Maybe the question is
Should be 8
Cagayan.
days.
Is Cagayan
Yeah.
province a committed area or not?
Actually, Tuguegarao po is a
It's
committed area.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so if it's Tuguegarao to wherever, that's
Yeah.
3 days.
Yes.
But outside of Tuguegarao, it's 8 days.
8 days. Uh-huh.
To Gigara because there's an airport.
Opo. Actually, yes, sir.
Ngayon,
Uh-huh.
pero if I'll tell you, how about in Sanchez Mira?
It should be 8 days po, sir.
8 days?
Opo. 70% po of our
It will take-
mails.
It will take 1 day from Tuguegarao to Sanchez Mira?
It goes through mayroon ho kasing mail distribution centers where this is processed and it takes at least 2 layers. From the distribution center in Tuguegarao, it will go to a sub-distribution center and then to the post office before it goes to the
Tuguegarao
letter
to Igig.
carrier. Huh?
From Tuguegarao to Igig,
It will take about,
the same day,
hindi po. Siguro po mga 2 days po.
2 days.
Opo. From Tuguegarao na po, sir, ha? From Tuguegarao.
Mr. Chairman, I give up.
Alam nyo, mas maganda if we can provide Senator Enrile a full mapping with all the routes possible, no? Because I guess the concern is really not just the city centers, but the
That's
areas
true.
outside. No? But my concern is with customs, because if you're 3 days, but then 30 days, sayang lang, 33 days total yon. So I'm hoping po you can figure out a scheme with customs. If need be, we can talk to them
We have
also
been
during the
talking to
budget.
them through 3 commissioners, from Commissioner Alvarez to Commissioner Liaison, now to Commissioner Lena. We have the MOA signed, but up to now, we have not implemented. Although, as I said, in the meeting with Commissioner Lena some 3 weeks back, he promised that we will be able to do it soon.
Okay. Well, I hope we can.
Yeah.
I hope that's settled before the November plenary, because the performance of the agency is heavily dependent on another agency. No, I have another question or a series of questions. Yung rates ho natin compared to the private sector,
We
how
are
much
cheaper.
How much cheaper are we?
We always have to be cheaper because that's our baseline actually. For example, for the regular mail, that's our monopoly because no one else produces stamp except us, no? The competition with the private courier is really in the express mail service, where to date we will admit that we still have a very small share of the market. But of that, definitely we will at least be minimum 80% cheaper than the private sector.
So kayo ho talaga yung
Definitely.
cheaper alternative, no? Which I guess is part of the mandate of the agency. Okay, with regard to franking, no? Kasi I think that was really more the concern. You already raised majority of your, in fact, you raised all of your expenditures, no? You raise your own money.
We have to earn what we spend.
Oh, you earn what you spend, no? And congratulations on that, because I know many years ago, malaking negative po yan sa gobyerno. Now you're already earning what you're spending. But you're raising the point on the franking privilege because parang malaking expense item.
Because of the conveyance cost. We pay the airline, we pay the vessel.
So what is the proposal from PhilPost that you have a budget in the you have a line item in the GAA on the franking privilege?
DBM appropriated another 301 billion to reimburse us
Million.
Million. Partly to reimburse us for that expense.
So the line item of the Philippine Postal will be the
Franking
privilege.
yes.
Pero kulang pa rin po yun.
As you see, 523 po yung hinihingi namin. So doon pa lang there's a gap already of 222 million.
And the balance, ma'am,
We
you
subsidize
just
from
have to
our
subsidize
earning,
it.
From our earning.
How much did you, may income ho ba kayo after expenses?
Last year, we did about 600 plus million.
So kasya pa
net.
naman yung 200.
Yeah, plus pambayad ng mga liabilities din na dinat na namin.
Okay. Well, it's a better problem. At least we know you are earning for the Philippine government.
thank you.
But we enjoin you to please submit the
Yes, sir.
paperwork to Senator Enrile's office. Could we quickly talk about the tax subsidy? So you have a tax subsidy as well.
We got a tax subsidy until 2014.
As part of the charter?
I think it's because they consider the fact that we are greatly subsidizing also the franking privilege, and that while they give us a certain amount which is not in full coverage of that, they give us a certain leeway, although in 2014, we already started to pay, in 2013, we already started to pay our income tax, the corporate income tax. This year, we are also already paying our VAT.
So pawala na ho itong tax
Yeah,
subsidy na
it's
to?
already, yung income tax definitely wala na. We have to pay our corporate income tax. We have paid for the last 2 years.
Now, okay.
Yung VAT may partial pa na hinahabol kami this year.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Philippine Postal Corporation. May we have the Development Academy to please present their, to show us their presentation.
System some more, madam. I advise you to study your system some more.
Good afternoon, Senator Aquino, and Senator Enrile. We are here to present the budget earmarked by DBM as subsidies in the 2016 NEP for DAP to implement national government programs, mandates, commitments, and directives for the consideration of the Senate in GAA 2016. The first three programs on the screen are part of the 2015 GAA, which was included in the 2016 NEP for consideration in the 2016 GAA. For 2016, 5 new subsidies were included in the NEP for DAP to implement should both houses favorably consider them in GAA 2016. Our role, mandate, and services, we generate ideas on development, good governance, and productivity through policy and action-oriented researches. We build individual and institutional capacities through training and education, as well as streamline and integrate processes and systems, and forge working partnerships through consultancy and technical assistance. The subsidies which are being presented represents only 36% of our revenues. The 64% we generate from our own program contracts with government agencies and the use of our conference and office facilities in Tagaytay and Pasig. This picture or this slide shows the pie chart breakdown of the national government programs and commitments earmarked as subsidies for DAP to implement next year. This is another comparative presentation of the said subsidies. Here you can see that for 2016, we were given 5 new programs, aside from the 3 which the national government gave last year. Just for the record, at least we are a government corporation. With the 5 subsidies, we will be earning a net income of 10.6. Without the subsidies, we will have a net income of 8.6. Over the years, the DAP has been increasing its net income. Suffice it to say that we have been fulfilling our mandate and not be a burden to national government.
Thank you, Mr. Calao. I'm quite familiar with the activities of DAP. No? The DAP, of course, fashions together a think tank, if I'm not mistaken, no? Of various government officials and technical consultants. No? What I'm interested in is that knowledge that's harvested through the Development Academy. Is that used or utilized by the other agencies? Alam ko with NEDA, you do have tie-ups with NEDA, but what about the other agencies?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. As a matter of fact, we have, in one of the programs that will be funded, we will be creating a what we call an innovation laboratory, where these new items, these pioneering ideas, will be accessed even online by the rest of the government agencies.
My concern, Mr. Calao, which I had mentioned to you before, no, is we have this think tank, and I'm in full confidence. Now, I have full confidence that that's a good think tank that you have. But what's the process in which the agencies can utilize that better? Kasi nakikita ko naman a lot of our agencies need that innovation, no? Or maybe they have problems that need to be solved, and the think tank that you developed is actually would be a good resource, no? How would you be able to connect or to collaborate properly with the agencies?
There are several ways, Mr. Chairman. One way is the conduct of what we call focus group discussions with the concerned government agencies. The other one is having it published online where they can access it, and then they can further inquire, and then we can connect them with the appropriate programs.
Who can propose subject areas for the Catalyst think tank? We call it Catalyst, diba?
That's right.
That's the name, no? Who can propose subject areas for Catalyst?
The Senate, the House of Representatives, the Executive Department.
So, kunyari, bato natin, traffic in Metro Manila. Can the think tank
Yes,
figure that out?
yes, Your Honor.
You can, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
What subject areas have you been working on? Kasi if I remember, I was in
Yes,
DAP
Tagaytay.
2 years ago, and that
Yes.
group was already formed.
Yes.
Ano po yung mga subject areas na nabigyan niyo ho ng pansin?
Recently, what we have been doing is applying the time-tested productivity and quality tools and techniques in the private sector to the government sector. In the government sector, the bottom line is not the money. The bottom line is the delivery of service. So using the, let's say, ISO certification, using the balance scorecard, which is being used in private, we are now using it in government with a different kind of metrics service delivery.
And the adoption from the agencies are okay? Or
Yes,
nahirapan ho kayo to convince them to change their metrics?
Some of them are cooperative. The others, actually, they now come to us because the national government have required them. There's a requirement now that government agencies should be ISO certified. So they come now to us.
Well, on our end, Mr. Calao, not just because I'm the vice chairman today,
Yes.
but we hope you can help us with some interesting cross-sectoral and cross-cutting issues, no? That
Yes. We are more than willing to help. In fact, for the record also, Senator Enrile has been part of the AP ever since its establishment in 1973. In fact, he was one of our ninongs, together with the original founders of the AP, Odi Corpus, Boy Morales, and the
I'm
rest.
going to ask you this question because I read once that a potential president of this country says that he's going to adopt the Singaporean model in making an efficient bureaucracy in the Philippines. Is it possible to just transport that system to our system overnight?
Sir, whatever system it is coming
Or,
from anywhere,
will it take years
yes.
to adapt a culture such as what you see in Singapore, Hong Kong, and China?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, whatever system it is coming from anywhere, it's got to be the change has to be managed because there is a cultural dimension to every change. So definitely, sir.
You know, sometimes we politicians are always fond of imitating most of the time, but we imitate without thinking.
All right, thank you.
I know this
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you, Mr. Calao. Salamat. All right, for our final agency for today, Dean Solon from the PCED, which is the Philippine Center for Economic Development. Please proceed,
Good
Dean
afternoon.
Solon.
The Philippine Center for Economic Development was created in 1974 to support the functions and activities of the UP School of Economics. So basically, next slide please, next slide. Really our PCED is operating simply to provide support to the teaching, research, and extension services of the UP School of Economics, so that it may be able to deliver its services at scale beyond and above what the UP budget can provide. Next slide. We are asking, I think since 2012, 13, 14, this is now probably the fourth time we're asking for direct budgetary support from government. And we are asking this to help us meet three challenges. One is to raise graduate student completion rates. Second one is to sustain faculty research support and dissemination. And the third one is to repair and upgrade a 38-year-old building, which the Philippine Center for Economic Development owns. Next slide. If you note that every year we graduate about 147 at BSBE and BS Economics, 4 at MA, 8 with MDE, and 1 PhD on average, where our track record in the last 5 years have been sort of not comparable to its historical basis. Hence, we're asking for additional support to be able to, and Your Honors, in the past, we've been surviving through PCD from income earned by an endowment introduced in the 1970s. And once now that interest incomes are quite low, we are now coming back to Congress and ask for supplementary support. Next slide. We're also asking support for research. These are mainly, Your Honors, for our faculty members so that they can continue to develop better teaching materials, evaluate events in the economy, and so on and so forth. Next slide. These are the kinds of repairs that we are requiring for our 38-year-old building. Next slide. So in summary, we are asking government for an additional 28 million in support of the UP School of Economics. The School of Economics is operating at around 70, 80 million. Maybe 50 of that is budgeted through the University of the Philippines. And then the rest is PCD and some donors. So in effect, PCD was created in the 70s, hoping that things will become better, and then UP can sort of be our main funding agency. However, this time we're sort of going back and asking for greater support from PCED. So this is the last 3 years we've been receiving about an average of 13. The remainder comes from our endowment funds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Solon. Alright, maraming salamat. Alright, mga kaibigan, maraming salamat sa ating lahat. The committee will draft the subcommittee report for the budget of the following: PDEA, PCDSPO, PLLO, Philippine Postal Corporation, Philippine Racing Commission, Development Academy of the Philippines, and the Philippine Center for Economic Development. This subcommittee on finance will submit its report to the mother committee for its approval. The hearing is now suspended. Maraming salamat po. Magandang hapon.